Okay, a video on three new knives that I have. And let me start out with this one, which is the Artisan Cutlery Shark. This is the cheapest version. This is the G10 blue. It's black with blue tinted metal. Um, got a nice belt clip. And if you can see, this knife is just sleek. It's just got a sleekness to it and a handle and action. Let me back this thing up a little bit. This spring, when I first got this, was a little bit loose, a little bit tight. And it was hard for me to get this out with, to close this with one finger. I was having to use this other hand. But you can see how quick this thing comes out. This thing is no bullshit. Let me get this up a little bit. What I did was I took this knife apart. And some of these things aren't easy to take apart. You take these two screws off and you take the center pivot screw off. And if you look at the back of this knife, this piece of metal right here goes all the way through. And it's got a notch. Let me open this up again. Right here, this whole piece of metal has got a slot cut in it, and then this piece of metal is bent to make this spring to hold this on there to make the lever lock. And it was too tight, and it was too tight for me to do with one hand. If I was to use two hands like this to close it, was no problem. But with one hand, I was having a problem. I put it in a vise, that piece of metal, and I pushed the spring over just a little bit, and I got lucky and I got it just the right amount. So now you can see it works perfect. It actually works like it should have worked right out of the box. But I took a little bit of pressure off the spring, and now it just works perfect for me. So I got lucky, because you start taking these things apart and you take a chance. Some of them won't even come apart. These, there's YouTube videos of people who are taking these things apart and cleaning the bearings and stuff. And I'll tell you what, you can do that all you want. But I'll tell you right now, the makers of the knife do not want you doing that. Because if they didn't care, they would make it easier to do. A lot of times they'll put Loctite in these torque screws, and sometimes you can't break them loose. Sometimes you'll round out the torques trying to get these things off. Like I said, they don't want you to be doing this. So, the dudes can make videos all day long of taking these knives apart. And I imagine the knife makers probably watch those videos and cringe every time they watch somebody do that, because they don't want you doing it. You take a chance with these. As small as these little torques are, every time you touch one with the torque wrench, you take a chance that you're going to round that thing out and just ruin it. And I have already ruined one on a different knife, and I'll get to that one in a minute. This one I got lucky. These all come out real easy. I took it together. I don't want to take this thing apart anymore, to be honest with you, because it's a little too tedious for me. I'm just not one of those guys that gets a big kick out of taking it apart. So I took this one apart to try to adjust it, and like I said, I got lucky. You can see the spring is just right. So fine on that one. This knife sells for about 52 bucks. I bought this one on Smokey Mountain Knife Works. Because I bought another one from them, so I bought two of them at once. I bought this one and another one, which was this one right here. And this was one of my favorites. This one is cool. but it's not anywhere near this one as far as just for me, just for my preference. This is also um, an Artisan Cutlery knife. This one's called the Tomahawk. Now, a little history with this knife is I actually tried to get this knife on 3 different occasions before I got it right. I ordered it once on through Amazon, and I ordered it through a you know, when you buy stuff from Amazon, you get like 3 different ways to do it. One is sold and shipped by Amazon. So if you see a product on Amazon and it says that on there, that's the best option of the bunch, because it's a no nonsense. If something is wrong with the product, you click on the little button on your orders, and there'll be an option there to tell them something's wrong with it, and they'll send you a shipping label, a prepaid. You put it in the mail. As soon as it gets scanned by the post office or UPS, Amazon will immediately refund your money, no question asked, even before they get it. So that's the best one. The other one is sold by blank, another company, fulfilled by Amazon. So that means Amazon is kind of foreseeing the whole thing. But there's a little difference there. If something goes wrong with the product, you don't deal with Amazon, you deal with the company. So you click on the same button, something's wrong with it. But then Amazon sends a message to the company sends you a shipping label. You put it on, you send it away. As soon as the company gets it back, they notify Amazon, and then you get your refund. I mean, that way works fine too, because sometimes Amazon doesn't have everything that you need. Sometimes they go through third parties. And the other one is shipped and sold by blank. And that Amazon is still overseeing it. It's kind of almost the same thing. You notify them, they send you a shipping label. But a lot of times with them is, I had a flashlight, for example, that was bad. And I got a shipping label, but it was from China, and I had to pay to send it back to China. When they got it back in China, and the guy made it a point to say if they got it back, I would get the refund. I ended up not sending it back because it was going to cost so much money to send it back that I just ate it. So there's the third one, which is not as good. On what I did was I ordered this knife right here, this Artisan Cutlery Tomahawk. The company got it wrong that I ordered, and it was a fulfilled sold by blank, fulfilled by Amazon. And I won't mention the company's name. They sent me the wrong knife. This Tomahawk, there's 2 different versions of it. There's the full size, which is this one, and then there is the Tomahawk small. They ship the exact same models, because this comes in different handles, different colors. They ship the exact same thing in both a full size and a small. Well, they sent me the small. I didn't want the small. I wanted the big one. And I thought about keeping it, and what made me send it back was the opening. Let me roll this back up a little bit. Get away from it. Okay, the opening on this knife isn't as fast as the Shark. Of course, it's not going to be as fast. Look at this. Look at this thing. Look at the blade on this thing. Let me put it down here so you can see it better. Look at this bad boy. So, of course, this one isn't going to open as quickly as the other one. Still opens fine. Just not as snappy because the blade is so much bigger. But this one is butter smooth. I mean, so is the Shark, but this one is butter smooth. I mean, just the feel of it. And you can see this one has a round contoured handle. This is the one I wanted. The stock one is with a flat handle. So I don't know if you can see that round contour. The other one is flat, just and it's more, it more looks like this one. Now, I don't know if you can see the difference on that one. See, this one is flat, and this one is round contoured. So they make one like that, this flat texture, just the same as this one. I wanted this one. Okay, back to the small. Now, where the small lost me was in the opening. This one is butter smooth. Just, you know, if you have any of these knives, you'll know what I'm talking about. You know the feel of a good feeling knife, the butter smoothness, the just feel in the hands, both closing it and opening it. You can see this one is also good one-hander. It's perfect. This one is probably the most perfect one of the ones I got. The action of the spring is just perfect. The tension is perfect. I mean, this one just came perfect. I don't have to touch this knife. But anyway, the one I got, the small one, it didn't feel that way. When I opened it, it felt gritty. It felt tinny. Even it sounded different, and I just didn't like it. I kept playing with it, and you know, I have like 4 knives, and they're all butter smooth, and I know the feel that I want, that metal feeling of the bearings when this thing opens up. And that little one just didn't have it. It had a cheap feel to it, a gritty feel to it, and it felt more like a toy than a knife. This feels like a knife. The other one, the small one, felt like a toy. I sent it back, got a refund. Probably a week or 2 later, I still wanted the knife. So I ordered it again, and I ordered it from a second vendor through Amazon again. And what do you know, my luck? The sumbitches send me a small again. I couldn't believe it. I opened it in the mail, and immediately, I mean, it comes in a little box, and I immediately knew. It comes in a little pouch, and by the size of it, I immediately knew it was a small. And I said, I can't believe this. 2 different vendors. I ordered the big. They even had the dimensions of the big one listed on the product, but they still sent me the small. So there was a little glitch. I don't know if it's between the vendors and Artisan Cutlery or whatever, but what are the chances that you order the same large knife from 2 different vendors and they both send you the small one? Could crack me up. So anyway, and so since I got the second one, I flicked it open again. You know, I did the same thing, and I'll, you know, thinking maybe I got a bad knife on the first one, and I'll be damned. The second one opened identical to the first one. Still had that gritty, tinny feel and sound that I didn't like. And I said, you got to be kidding me. So that made me think that that's just the way that knife is, that small version. So I sent it back too. And I said, you know what? I had lost my confidence after that in the vendors on Amazon. So I started looking for some direct sellers, and Smokey Mountain Knife Works was one of them that was direct seller, and they had a few of these, and they have videos on YouTube. And I saw this same knife, which is the original one I wanted in the first place, so I ordered it through them, and what do you know? In fact, I ordered both of these. I got kind of a deal and no shipping if you go over $100. They're both about this. Actually, this one was a little more. This one was about 59. This one's 50, like 52. Free shipping. And they sent me the right one. Beautiful. I'm finally going, oh my God, I finally got the one I wanted. And not only did I get the one I wanted, but I got a perfect one. I got a perfect one. They just sent me, get this over here. There you go. And just look at that bad boy. Does that sumbitch look badass or what? And this contoured round handle I like so much better. Now, this one weighs like 4.2 grams. This sucker weighs like 5.7 grams. It's considerably, I mean, ounces. 4.2 ounces, 5.7 ounces. Considerably. It's a considerably bigger knife. They are about the same size. Lengthwise. I need to open this up. Excuse me with the camera angles here. They're pretty close to the same size lengthwise, but they're both close to 9 inches. But this one, again, sleek. And this one, more meat cleaver. You know, more meat cleaver, a la straight razor kind of look. I actually like the feel of this one better than I do this one. I like this one too. You know, just when I feel like going sleek, but when I just want to go badass, I just go for this one. And this one feels more buttery smooth to me. Maybe it's just because it's got more weight to it. And I think the handle is bigger. And there's just something about this one. I just like the feel of it better. But this one is strictly, you know, one-hander, no problem at all. And after I adjusted this one is a nice one-hander as well. You can see how much quicker, snappier this one is. Nice. I just totally like it. Okay, then, since I like this one so well, Smokey Mountain had both of these knives in copper. And I said, you know what, I probably got to have at least one copper knife. So the one I was looking at in the Tomahawk, they were out of. And it was funny because they said they had an exclusive on the copper. I go looking on YouTube and I just typed in Tomahawk Copper. And then I see another vendor called Atlantic Knife Company. And they had some copper tomahawks, and they claimed they were exclusive also. So I didn't quite understand that, because one of the knives, both of them carried, and they both said it was exclusive. The other two were a little tiny bit different from each other. And the one I ended up settling on is this guy right here, which is probably my favorite, even more than this one, and that's like really stretching it because I love this one. But holy shit, you look at this bad boy right here. Look at this. Look at this baby. Now this one is not round contoured. This is more like, this one's flat. And this one is contoured. I don't know if the camera picks that up. One is flat with no contour, and this one has got a contour from, you know, along the side. Talk about this one being heavy, 5.7 ounces. This one weighs like 7.9 ounces. This damn near is 8 ounces for a pocket knife. 4 ounces, 4.2 ounces, 5.7 ounces. $7.9 ounces. Same knife. Let me get this a little bit closer so you can look at this. Look at this guy. Is that a beauty or what? That thing is just, I can't even tell you. You know, this one right here is just a turn on to me, to hold this and to flick it and to feel it. This one is like in another level altogether. And I think it's because of the weight, the added extra weight, and the feel of the copper in the hand. Smooth. Oh my God, this thing just feels so good in the hand. Get my, okay. And if this one, felt good flicking it, this one even feels a little bit better. Where this one is not quite as good is right here on the spring. I don't know how good the camera's going to pick this up, but right there where, let me see. Okay, now watch. You see the spring going all the way forward and back? It returns back to the same position it started because it's actually underneath this piece right here. Where this one is a little bit longer and it's wedging underneath there. So when you it doesn't return. Watch, you see it doesn't return all the way. Now if I close it and I flick it, if I open it like this, it goes to the first spot. And then if I do it like that, I can close it with one hand like I can the other one. But if I flick it like this, now it goes all the way. I don't know if you can see that, but it goes all the way. See, it goes farther along. And it like wedged itself in there because this piece right here is a hair too long. So it wedges itself in there. And that's fine for the detent, but if I want to go back down. If I want to try to one-hand this shut, sometimes I can do it. Okay, I did it that time. See if I can do it again. And sometimes I can't because it's just got so much tension. And because it's wedged in there where this one just goes back and forth, I can just move it back and forth with my finger all day long. This one I can't. This one, if I move it, see if I can listen. I'm going to put this next to my mic. Okay, did you hear that? Do it again. Close. I'm pushing the spring. And because of that, most of the time when I'm flicking this thing, I'll go like this and I'll close it like this with the other finger. I'll go like that because it's just easier to do because of that spring. If I try to do it with this hand, oh, I can do it, but holy crap, it just does a number on my thumb. It just digs in there. Woo. So what a beautiful knife this thing is. I just like all three of these puppies. I'm so happy I bought all three of them because they're just, all of them are just gorgeous. Artisan Cutlery Shark, Artisan Cutlery Tomahawk, full size, round contoured. You can see the simulated wood grain. I like this little thing on there. I think that looks cool. It's a little added piece of metal. Okay, back over to this one for a second. When I said these knife makers do not want you taking these knives apart, contrary to the YouTubers. This is an example. If you look at this one, see it doesn't have a back plate like this one does. See, most of them have back plates. That back plate right there. This one's got the back plate. It means the screws are screwed into it from both sides. This one, if you look, doesn't have a back plate. This one just has the two studs, 1, 2, screwed in from one side onto one, and one onto the other, one onto the other, and 2 in the clip. I tried to take this apart because I was going to try to make some adjustments to this spring to see if I could get it to open like this one does, this beautiful one here. I burned out 2. The screws are on here are so tight. Let me go back over to here. I burned through 2 Torx bits and I rounded this screw off inside, one of the screws off inside this clip, trying to get this off. Never could get it off. And so now I have a permanent messed up screw that I'm never going to get off. I have to order a number 6 Torx again because I burned through 2 of them, just completely rounded them off. And it's because whoever put this thing together, metal and metal, and they must have put some red Loctite on there, and they just flat ass did not want anybody opening this knife, and I couldn't open this knife, and I'm never going to open this knife. So the way I'm looking at this knife now is the way it is. So even if I get 2 new Torx, I'm never going to get that screw out now because I rounded the Torx screw off inside there, so I'm totally screwed. So don't be a weenie like me, and if you get resistance on a Torx, one that small, like a 6, don't force it. If you can't get it off, just say, you know what, this thing is Loctited on there, I'm not going to get it off. Don't do like me and then try to force it off and thinking you're going to brute force it off with strength and end up rounding off the Torx bit and screwing and permanently messing up the screw, so you're never going to get it off. Don't be a weenie like me and do that shit. I'm just used to this. You know, I wanted a little bit more. I wanted that to be a little bit easier, like my other ones. All my other knives are easier than this one. And that's just the way it's going to be. Now that I know I can't take it apart, and then I'm just going to go ahead and live with it the way it is. But even being is this, it outweighs it just because this thing feels so good. See, now it's, as I'm saying that, I'm getting it off with one hand, where before, a lot of times I wasn't. So anyway, this is beautiful knives. And the neat thing about this one, of all my knives, this is the only one that I can grab, that there's any meat of the knife where I can grab it and open it like this if I want to. If I want to do it like this, I want to just grab it and open it like that. You notice, like on this one, this is the backside. There's nothing to grab a hold of. The only way you're going to get that open is to flick the flipper. This one's kind of cool that you can do that with, because this blade is so wide that there's no way that they're going to bury the whole blade, because the knife would be so unwieldy that it would just look ridiculous. So they ended up making it like this, which is cool. Just looks cool. Okay, god damn it, I don't want to buy any more knives, man. I've already spent more money than I want to. So hopefully I don't look at any more knife views where I see another one that I absolutely think I have to have. I'm just going to go ahead and keep all these. I got these 3 right here. I got my rake, Ruick P121. I got my first Crenshaw 1760 Stonewash, and then I probably got, man, I don't know if I can dethrone this one or not, but this is my Bestech Kendo. This still remains one of my all-time favorite knives. Just badass looking. But these are my knives, and there's where I'm stopping right there. Okay, that's it. See you later.